What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back with our player ratings video for the first time of the season. 3-1 win against Aston Villa yesterday. Yeah, good game.
I think, look, great to get off the season with 3 points. Great to get off with a win after coming back. We looked disappointing in the first half, but I think in the second half we showed what we can do. And considering all the players that we had out as well, it was a good showing.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, Poch kind of got it wrong in the first half, but rectified his mistakes at half time.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get into the player ratings. We start off with Hugo Lloris. We gave him a 6.
One thing to do all game now is pick the ball out of the net.
Exactly. He wasn't really tested throughout the game, I thought.
That's it.
And he didn't really make a save.
Literally, he had one thing to do the whole game was pick the ball out of the net. Yeah. That's literally all he had to do.
All right, moving on.
Davinson Sanchez, we gave him a 5. He was kind of caught ball watching for that first goal.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. I reckon it's him and Rose. You probably blame both of them. I think probably more on Rose. I would say the fault of the goal, but Sanchez I think is also to blame.
But he got rinsed a bit, didn't he? Just before it was Rose's fault.
Yeah.
Because Rose kind of slipped, but we'll get onto that in a minute.
Yeah, but I think Wesley kind of gave him a hard time throughout the game, especially in the first half. But I thought in the second half, him and Toby they kind of started to dominate. They started to learn how to play against Villa, and then we started to really dominate them. And I think he was okay, but it wasn't his best showing. I don't think. I mean, a few passes I think went astray as well.
I felt he started the game really sloppy, and he did grow into the game as you said, but I feel he gets muscled and outpaced so much for a guy of his build and his pace.
We're now 3 seasons near now. This is his 3rd season, Spurs.
Look, it's only the first game of the season. I back Sanchez because I think he's got all the qualities to become like a top defender. I just think he needs to learn. He's still very young, so time's on his side. So
yeah.
Moving on, Toby Alderweireld, we gave him a 6. I think not the best displays from Toby, as we're used to seeing. A bit sloppy in the first half, but as for Davinson Sanchez, he grew into it in the second half. A few pings out wide to Kyle Walker-Peters that were
really good ones on Rose as well. Yeah.
And to Rose, yeah. But all in all, it wasn't too bad, wasn't too good, just a standard display.
I thought he was pretty good. I thought in the second half, actually, he started to really get up in behind Wesley and started to nick the ball off him. Because I thought he was actually struggling a bit. Wesley was really pinning him back, and he struggled to get the ball off. He's a big, strong guy, that Wesley. But I think Toby, once he kind of learned how to play against him, he kind of figured him out a bit. And then once he figured him out, they had absolutely nothing going forward. They couldn't even get into our half.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think he was a big part of that. And then in the second half, when we were going forward, he was coming into midfield and he was kind of creating that extra man, and it was good.
So those pings out wide, Toby...
They literally pinpoint every single time. It's just majestic. I love it so much.
I remember there was one, I think it was to Danny Rose, and he was like just behind the halfway line, and Danny Rose was far left, and he had a player just in front of him, and it kind of dipped just over the player and hit Danny Rose's feet.
On a sixpence.
Pinpoint. Yeah. Amazing. But anyway, moving on to Danny Rose.
Yeah, we gave him a 6. A mixed performance from Danny Rose. Obviously, his mistake, I felt, cost us the first goal. He let McGinn run off him, and then once he got into position to defend the shot, he slipped or he overran it, and he gave McGinn a free shot all the time in the world to score, and he'll be disappointed with that. And it wasn't only that, it was a couple of times as well. I think Trezeguet was getting in behind him, and he struggled a bit, but I think once again, as Spurs grew into the game, I think he struggled out wide, him and Kyle Walker-Peters in the first half, because they really didn't have any help out wide. They were kind of isolated out there. And once we had support out wide with Lamella coming out wide and Sissoko, he started to improve a lot, and he started to get in behind the Villa defence, and we started to see the Danny Rose that we saw at the end of last season. And I think we're going to need him this season. We are going to need him this season,
definitely.
Big time.
Pochettino says he's a big part of his plans this season, and can't have any complaints about that, especially with Sessegnon Davis out injured.
Yeah, 100%.
But I called Danny Rose's display yesterday like a Jekyll and Hyde performance, because I thought I saw some really good points and I saw some really bad points. But yeah, I think all in all it was a good display from Danny. He just needs to cut out those mistakes from his game.
Yeah, it's a good one. I remember the first half, one really good cross which Lucas and he scored the header right at the beginning of the game. That was a great cross. We need to see more than that from Danny.
And like in the first half, it was so congested out there, and him and Kyle Walker-Peters were the only ones providing width for us, and we needed a bit more from that from like Lucas and Lamella, but wasn't to be because the formation wasn't set up like that. Yeah. But moving on to Kyle Walker-Peters, we gave him a 7. I thought it was a very good display from him. I was saying to someone that, you know, it's a good display, and we've seen Trippier put in these kind of displays against these kind of teams as well. So it remains to be seen about Kyle Walker-Peters. If he is the right kind of long-term replacement for our right-back situation, we'll see how he fares at Man City next week. But I think he provided good performance, getting up and down the pitch. I think his defensive and attacking qualities were both on show, and I think, good display from Carl.
Yeah, I was happy with him. I think defensively, mostly was what I was most happy about, because he really didn't give their wingers anything. I thought he really gave them a really good defensively. Going forward, I think he got forward well in terms of he was good in possession. He was getting good positions.
But it was his end product.
Yeah, it's not only his end product. I felt like he needs a bit more confidence. You know, taking on his man. A lot of the times he would cut back and just choose the easy pass.
He did take on a man quite a few times.
Yeah, but I felt like he, like, in terms of really really hurt them. It was only in kind of safe positions he would do it, and I feel like he didn't really put too many balls in the box that I can remember, and not too many of quality anyway. So I got to see a bit more from him in that sense. But I was happy about him defensively, and I think, as I've said before, I think whenever we've called upon him thus far, I think he's done a fine job. So I'm looking forward to the season ahead for him, because it's going to be a massive season for him.
It will, and he'll be coming up against kind of Serge Aurier and Juan Foyth. When Serge Aurier, you know, he's been a top European right back for years.
He's been linked to the leave, apparently.
He's been linked to a leave, but if he does stay, that's good competition there, 100%. I feel.
All right, next up, Tanguy Ndombele.
Bad boy,
Ndombele, all the ones you can say. We gave him a 7. Great debut, I felt, from him. Really good goal he scored, obviously, in the second half. Really good finish. He did struggle a bit in the first half. You could, obviously, everyone could see that he was kind of getting on the ball, but he wasn't making real impact. And there was a couple of times Villa players were breezing past him, and then I was wondering a bit, oh God, you know, have we spent 50 million on him, and is he, oh God, you know, is it going to be another false dawn? But he did grow into the game. He grew into the game big time, and I thought he was absolutely outstanding in some parts of the game. His dribbling ability was on show, and I felt like his passing as well. Once he got more confidence, his passing started to get a lot more crisper and a lot more into dangerous areas, and it was really good to see. And that goal was going to give him so much confidence, because what a finish from the edge of the box.
Yeah. I thought first 15 minutes for Tanguy, he was pretty much anonymous in the game. The game was kind of breezing past him. He kind of grew into it at the back end of the first half, but second half he was sensational. You know, those touches were a bit Dembele-esque. He was getting round players, he was spraying the ball, and what a finish for his goal. Absolutely sensational.
And once Eriksen got on the pitch, I think he improved a lot as well.
Yeah, because
he stepped up his game.
The space kind of freed up for him as well when Eriksen came up.
Yeah, all of a sudden people focusing a bit more on Eriksen, a bit more space for Ndombele to kind of move around the pitch, and I was really happy with him, and I'm so excited for what the season holds for him.
We talk about a midfielder who has it all in his locker, and this guy literally has it all. I know, like, he scored in his debut, but let's not forget Moussa Dembele also scored a very similar goal as well on his debut against Norwich. Was it against Norwich? It was against
Norwich, yeah. But one thing I'll also say about Tanguy is despite his on the ball stuff being not very good in the first half, I think off the ball, I think he was quite impressive as well. He's got a lot of interceptions, he was getting a lot of tackles in, and that was really good to see. So even though, you know, you kind of struggled a bit on the ball, he's still making that impact on the pitch off the ball, which is exactly what we require from him. And we need. I
was actually surprised how skillful on the ball he actually is, because, you know, every time he got the ball, he would do some like weird twist with his foot and with his hips. Like, he looks really good, and I'm really excited for the season moving forward.
Pochettino said he only played about 30% of his potential yesterday. That's what Pochettino said. So a lot more to come.
Well, let's see how he can produce it against Man City next week.
Exactly.
Moving on to Moussa Sissoko, we gave him a 5. Very, very frustrating display from Moussa yesterday. In the first half, the midfield was so congested, he just couldn't really do anything. I felt that because Eriksen and Dele weren't in the side, a lot of creativity was like down to him, and like, for me, Moussa Sissoko needs to be a player that kind of midfield general that cuts up play and drives with the ball forward. When he's given too much attacking responsibility, I don't think he kind of does well in those situations. But second half, I thought he did improve a tiny bit, but for me, a very disappointing display from Moussa.
I agree with you that he improved a lot, and I agree that the attacking burden was a lot more on him than usual. And I felt like the midfield three of Winks, Sissoko, Dembele didn't really work for him. I felt like
It was because it was too congested in there. That's why.
It was very congested in there, and every time he got forward and was getting into the final third, it was woeful. Actually, it was really disappointing.
Yeah.
It was actually like championship level, or maybe even worse kind of stuff. And every cross was overhit, going out for a throw. That shot, one from the edge of the 6-yard box, that somehow went for a throw, was absolutely ridiculous. I don't know how he managed that.
Although he did take a shot from about 25, 30 yards out. It was a lovely pinged shot that just over, probably his best shot in a Spurs shirt.
Yeah, well, just over the bar, yeah. So, yeah, from attacking point of view, it was really disappointing. Obviously, defensively, he's always all over the place. What you see is what you get at Moussa. He's so powerful and energetic, and so that was a good point. And obviously, he got the assist for the third goal with a really good driving run and pass to Harry Kane.
And that's what we know about Moussa Sissoko. Pick up that ball, drive forward, and pass it.
I felt like in the second half, in the last part of the game, he kind of went back to basics. We played to his strengths. That's what we need from Moussa.
I don't think that it's due to him why he was so bad in the first half. I think it was the way we were set up, because like I said before, it was the attacking burden. He didn't have that in the second half because of the system we played.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, next up, Harry Winks. We gave him a 6. Decent display by Harry, but I felt like in that position he was kind of the deepest of the three, and he was good at moving the passing left to right and kind of moving the play along. But as we said of Harry, just not enough kind of penetrative passes going forward, not enough quick enough getting the ball forward, and I think that's probably the reason why he got taken off for Eriksen. I felt like Pochettino probably saw him as the player who was making the least impact on the pitch of all midfielders.
Yeah, you know what? I thought he was always buzzing around doing good things in the middle of the pitch, but as I've said for Sissoko and Tanguy, like the midfield was just so congested, it was hard for any of them to make a real impact in the game. Second half, I thought, what time did he go off in the game?
About an hour for Eriksen.
Yeah, he went off after 60 minutes. Obviously, the game completely changed when he went off because of that attacking presence that Eriksen had. But look, Winks is a great player, and I fully trust in him to carry on the season. And
yeah, there was a few moments where he found himself in and around the box, and he whereas Eriksen would have found a killer pass or a shot, like Winks kind of just playing out wide and the safe passes, and that's why we needed someone more penetrative, and that's why he made that change. I think in other situations maybe Winks would have been good enough, but in this we kind of need something different.
All right, moving on to Lamella, we gave him a 5. I thought it was a bit up and down from Lamella yesterday. His energy was always there, 100%, putting it in, chasing down that pressing game. He got the assist for the second goal, which was absolutely brilliant, winning the ball off Grealish and playing it through to Kane, although a bit lucky.
Yeah, well, it wasn't really playing, it was a shot which got blocked.
But a shot that found its way to Kane, it was all because of him that goal came about. Correct. But it wasn't, apart from that, there was not really too much quality out there.
I think he improved a lot when he moved out to the left-hand side than he was behind the strikers. I think he was a lot better there. His crossing was a bit better, but I felt like when he was in the centre, especially in the first half, all the creative burden was on him, and he wasn't up to it, in all honesty. The quality was really bad. Anytime we found ourselves trying to find Lucas or Kane in behind, he just couldn't find the pass each time. And his dribbling ability was okay, but other than that, when you're in that position, you need more quality. And this is now Lamella's 6th, 7th year in the Spurs shirt. I know he is our 5th choice attacking midfielder, so in that sense, he's not a terrible option to have, but you expect more from him. You really do. We know he has the quality. He just has to show it.
Look, I love his passion and desire for the club, and on the pitch, his attitude is amazing. Just the quality levels need to raise a bit. We signed this guy as effectively a replacement for Gareth Bale, and 5 years on, he's not showing the kind of quality that we desire. I know, like you said, he's a 5th choice player, but he needs to improve. Yeah,
when given the chance. We know he can. We know the levels he can reach. It's just about, I don't know what it is, maybe find the right position for him.
We've seen flashes of brilliance from him, absolute brilliance, but he just needs to show it consistently.
But as long as he keeps that tenacity, he's always going to be a valuable member of the squad.
100%.
Next up, Lucas Mora, we gave him a 5. A bit of a disappointing display from him. I felt like, he started the game within 20 seconds, he was tackling a fullback and getting a shot off, and then he had a header from, around the penalty area after 4 minutes. So it looked like, he could have been in for a goal, in for a few chances, but he really went quiet after that. and he went off the boil. I think him and Kane up front didn't quite work. He moved that wide for a time to the second half, but also that didn't quite work as well. I felt like he wasn't able to get crosses out of his feet, and I felt it was just a bit of a disappointing display. And he signed a 5-year contract, obviously, this week, which is great news for us. I think he's a great option for the squad. I think he's a really good player, really offers something different, but it just didn't quite work for him in this game. That's all we've said about Lucas is consistently when he's a starter, he needs to improve. And it's these kind of games where he goes hot and cold, which he needs to kind of get that mentality right in his head.
I mean, I thought for the first, it's a bit weird one with Lucas, because when we're talking about the other players, they all had a poor first half and kind of got better in the second half. I felt like Lucas kind of started off really well, but then drifted. I thought he started really well the first half, and I thought he started the second half quite well actually, but drifted in both. So
and he got a nice assist for Tanguy.
Yeah,
good presence of mind.
It was that was a lovely touch in the box to get away from that player.
Yeah,
but he just needs to show it consistently throughout the whole game.
Yeah, and a lot of players in that position might have tried to take a shot off instead of having the presence of mind to say Tanguy's in a better position to get the shot off. I'm going to lay it off to him. And so that was good. So look, there were positives as well in that performance from Lucas. But when he's playing up front against a side who's just been promoted, you expect him to cause more of a threat than he did, and that's just all I'm saying.
All right, moving on to Harry Kane. We gave him an 8, 2 goals to win us the game. Yeah. Our talisman. For me, he should be captain of the team. He should be our talisman, our leader. 2 goals in the first game of the season in August. When's the last time we've said that?
Never.
Probably the first time.
Never said that.
But I thought he was showing good signs throughout the whole game. That he was putting balls in the box, which he's got such good ability in crossing, and it just showed yesterday basically.
Yeah. Obviously it was his first goals at the new stadium as well. Yeah. He's never scored. That was great to see. 2 really good finishes, and I felt like even in the first half, I felt he was sharp. He was on it. He didn't look sluggish. He nearly scored in the first half with that header.
Fit, doesn't he?
He does look fit. In the first half, he had that header that went just over the bar. I remember he had a 1-on-1 that was called offside, but he did look sharp on that. And obviously those 2 goals were really clinical.
That 1-on-1 when he was offside, there was a bad miss though.
It was a bad miss, but at least he had the pace to get away from the defender, you know what I mean? And obviously Tyrone Mings and the other, can't remember who the other centre-half was, they gave him a tough time. They played really well, but he still managed to stick in there. And that when he got those chances, those really clear-cut chances that he was able to take one on his left foot, smashed it into the net past Eaton. That second one was a really clinical finish, just outside the box, just outside the post. curled it in, and it was really, really great finish from Harry Kane. And obviously 2 goals on his route, hopefully to another Golden Boot, we're hoping. And hopefully the season will carry on for him like that, because he looks like he's sharp this season. He looks like he's going to be on it from day one. So let's hopefully he goes through it.
One of our own.
Yeah, exactly.
Go on, moving on.
Obviously, and the last player, Christian Eriksen, he came on after 60 minutes, 1-0 down, and he changed the game. We gave him a 9. Really good stuff from Christian Eriksen. So happy that he came on and he completely changed it for us, because we were struggling big time. He really gave us that really good that really good quality in the final third, which we were lacking a bit. And he, it wasn't only that, he was always an option around the final third as well. He always kind of made space for the ball. He was kind of making himself available, which players weren't doing before. And I thought his crossing was on point. It led to the first goal. Really, that was such an underrated cross to Sanchez, where Heaton saved it and led to Tanguy scoring. So I think, and he had obviously nearly scored the free kick as well.
Brilliant save that was.
Really good save from Heaton. So I think he proved yesterday how valuable he can be to the squad. I mean, I don't want to go overboard by that yesterday proves everything, because a lot of our creative players were missing yesterday. Dele, Lo Celso, Sonny. So really good attacking players were missing. So that's why we maybe lack creativity.
Yeah, you know what? It says it all. It was 1-0.
I agree with you.
1-0 when he went off. When he came on, and 3-1.
No, I'm not doubting. I'm just saying overall in a season, I'm not going to say that game proves how valuable he is, because considering all the creative players we did have missing, apart from him as well. But obviously we know how good Eriksen is, and we know how valuable he is to the squad. And
look, we've said it many times over the years. A lot of the time when Eriksen doesn't play, we just look a bit flat attacking.
Yeah, agreed.
And that was the same yesterday.
But could Lo Celso change that?
Yeah,
maybe?
and Dele's due a big season this year as well.
Exactly.
remains to
So
be seen.
I'm just trying to stay positive in case he leaves, basically. Just saying, like, because
Sign on that dotted line,
please.
Christian.
Well, look, I'm desperate for Eriksen to stay. In my opinion, I really don't understand why he would want to go to a team who don't want him so badly. Like, clearly the Madrid teams aren't that desperate for him if they're not willing to pay the relatively low asking price. We're asking of about 50 million for him to leave. So if just. Maybe if he goes on a free, he'll get like. Would they pay him 400 grand a week or 350 grand? I don't know if they want him that badly that they're going to pay that. Why? Like, it's a risk for him, and also we've seen players before, that they get frustrated and they have a season where it's a bit in and out for them, like a bit like he had last season. But can he afford to have another season like that? No. Will teams look at him seriously if he has another season? If he stays at Spurs and has another season where he's down in tools and he's not happy at Spurs and he's not playing at his best? Will big teams look at him like that's a player I want? If he's had 2 seasons where he's been poor, I don't think so. So I think if we keep him, he's going to have to be on his game if he wants that big move.
But at the end of the day, it shows a lot about his character. After everything, all the summer he's had, all the Spurs fans berating him for last season and him wanting to leave and not sign that contract, to come on with half an hour to go and produce a performance like that, absolutely amazing. But anyway, moving on, last but not least, Pochettino. We gave him a 7. I feel like he got it wrong in the first half with that diamond midfield, but credit to him, he changed it up in that second half and provided our attacking players with a lot more tools to go in and hurt Villa, and brought on Eriksen with half an hour to go, which really changed the game. And all credit to Pochettino for winning us that game.
Yeah, Poch admitted in the first half he got it wrong, and everyone could see that the midfield was so congested we couldn't find a way through. I think the midfield 3 didn't work at all. But I found that second half, once you got Lamella out wide and Sissoko out wide, we tested their fullbacks a lot more. Their fullbacks were getting an easy ride in that first half. We didn't test them at all. And I think we gave them something extra to think about, and I think we're getting good quality balls in the box in that second half. And once we put Villa under serious pressure, they caved at the end of the day, and we kind of felt like once we got 1, we could get 2, and that's exactly what happened. And Poch got it right in the second half, and at least he could see that he was getting it wrong, and he could change it. And credit to him, even without Eriksen, we did improve our play, even though we still kind of struggled. But we did improve in the second half. So credit to him that he called it right in the second half and rectified his mistake. And hopefully going to the season, he said this season is a big season. He doesn't consider it a success unless we win a trophy. And that's big talk from him. And I'm really happy that he's finally saying that
from him before.
Yeah, and I'm happy about it. It means he's confident that we can really push on the season and finally win a trophy. So I think it's a big season for us. I think we've had a great transfer window and a big season for Pochettino to get some silverware in the bag. And I think it's been good stuff.
All right, so there you have it. That's your player ratings for the opening day of the season win against Aston Villa. And we move on to Manchester City away next weekend. So check out for all
not a small game.
Yeah, exactly. So check out all the content surrounding that game. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell us what you think of our player ratings. And as always,
come on, you Spurs.